Good evening, GTSA. We're live with round 2 of the Nations Series for 2024. Coming to you with the BMW M3 E36 from Gran Valley Highway, reverse. Rav, just let me know if you can hear me, if I can hear you. Just about to get underway with qualifying. Pool 1 guys. Shout out to our sponsors while we're waiting. TGN Racing Simulators and Track Art, always looking after our guys. And then we also have Rhino Utilities stepping up big time. We have the guys from Mayfair Gearbox as well, and then Right Recruitment. So shout out to the sponsors. Without those guys, we don't get any nice cool prizes.
Alright, I am here. Good evening.
Good evening, Rav. I've got a bit of a echo feedback there on your side, but...
Something I just want to say, a little bit of echo. I need to switch my mic. There we go, that should be much better in both ways.
Welcome. So how did Pool 2 go for you? We're just starting qualifying now in Pool 1.
Pool 2. Would it be possible for me to jump in there as well?
Yes, there's only 13 cars on track, so you can jump in.
Okay.
Gives me a hand. You don't have to watch.
Second set of eyes there.
Yeah, you can tell me what's happening while we're watching some other side as well.
Yes, sir.
So yes, Pool 2.
Yeah, but Pool 2 was fun. It was actually very close. Towards the end, the battle for second, wait till fifth was separated by 2 seconds.
Oh, nice. Where did you end up?
It was
fifth,
that close.
I hope.
I ended up 7th.
Okay.
With Supermanny, finishing in 6th. I gave him the position. Yeah, I was just a little off the pace compared to everyone else, but I went for the 2-stop strategy.
The what? Two stop. Yeah.
And then 2 laps on mediums, and then 14 soft.
Yeah.
Which was viable, but it did seem to be the slower strat overall.
Depending on how crazy you are and how good your fuel management and other things are, I turned on this evening and did like half an hour driving, and then used the setup that Branovan posted for suspension. Dropped my gear ratio to 240 k/h top end, and that's how I raced. But I still managed to get 14.2s, which wasn't too bad for no practice. And
yeah,
cleaned up Pool 6 by 30 seconds. Sorry, 22 seconds. I lied. I realised I was running out of petrol towards the end. It was a good race. Bain had to stop at extra time, but he was in the podium positions. I'm assuming Q-Silver was running the same pace as me, but I think he had an error at the end of his first, and he started on the mediums, I started on the softs. And I think most of us did the 2-stopper, but I also was only doing 13 laps on a tank, so doing a 1-stop wouldn't have worked.
The tunes make a hell of a difference, though, eh? With the tune that I had, I was able to get possibly 17 laps out of a tank.
Nice. But you went with the 2-stop instead.
But yeah, it was. Yeah. I went for the 2-stop because it felt safer and faster. I was losing way too much time on the mediums. Literally able to make back a pit stop on the softs instead. I was about 1.5 seconds, almost 2 seconds slower per lap. That was barring any mistakes. So yeah, damage is the big thing here.
Yeah, I see we got Janadi and Stignator both pitting from the medium, so they're planning on starting on medium. So that was also important in my race, because the other gent I saw in the pits, he went during qualifying and put mediums on. So I was on pole, he was second. I got jumped off the line and dropped to third, but I knew get past, pull a gap, and then I opened up a 10-15 second lead on the field. I knew he was pitting and he got the mediums out the way, which were 1-2 seconds lap slower. I don't know if you found that. They're terrible.
Yeah. They are terrible on this track.
So what I should have done is I should have done 13,
How many
13,
turn 1
4.
incidents?
I didn't see any, I saw a bunch of cars
no
crashed that I lapped,
but Yeah.
There was
Plenty of crash outs, plenty of laps. That first two turn. Okay, turn one isn't as bad, but the tightening up for turn two, that is where it caught out a lot of people.
okay. There we go.
Me specifically on the mediums, I went in and hit the wall a couple of times. I was like, nah, I'm gonna play it safe. Go for the double soft stint.
Yeah, we got RBS setting 13.3. Richard Ghost Killer now 13.5. 13.5 for Richard. 13.6 I think it is for Ron, who's pitted. Brunavane 13.7. S&P 14.2. 14.3 so far for GTRSA. We'll have the guys come through and see on their last lap. Still another chance for another lap, maybe even two if they're lucky. It's weird, we saw one or two guys pit early on there.
Actually battling on the lap, yeah. Well, for momentarily battle.
Yeah, there's a whole group of cars.
Before we went back into...
So we'll just see how this shakes out, but so far 13.3 from RBS Racing. What was your fastest lap in qualifying and in the race?
I ended up not qualifying because I made too many mistakes.
No, I mean in the pool.
But in the pool. Nah, I think honestly, if Serious Sam was in this race, he would have been flexing his muscles because he got I think a 13.1 in qualifying, but in the race he ended up hitting a 12.9 something.
Well, their Ghost Killer's just hit a 12.9. Yeah, I know. I think RBS said he had done a 12.9 as well in practice. He hasn't posted it now.
Yeah, Sam in practice got an outstanding 12.1, but I think the wind direction helps a lot on the main straightaway. But you ruin your chances in the corners as it stands now. I don't know if it will change much in the race, but Sam had set a 12.1 as his fastest lap in practice, but I think that was probably with the aid of the wind direction.
Maybe a slipstream as well.
No, that was like solid pace.
Okay.
So Sam for one, I know is outstanding when it comes to tuning.
Cavar Steve jumping up to second. RBS coming through on his last lap. Let's see what he does. I think he was down in the previous sector. OJ saying
what I like about this race currently. Go ahead.
OJ saying RBS is in a BM XM with that rake angle.
Yeah, that's true.
He hasn't gone to Boxburg and those places. Richard currently in fourth. He's right behind Stignator, so he might get a nice tow or he might get held up. Yeah, Ginelli, Stignator and Richard coming through for their laps. Lyric says hello everyone, he's barking outside. I'm sure you heard that. So Richard stays fourth, Stignator up to sixth. D-Man fifth. It's always interesting to see how names get shaken up in the tuning races, even the road car, but especially with tuning. Hold on.
While Stephen is busy barking back at his dog, the tuning races, they give a very massive different perspective on things, and really like what I've seen from you can even hear as we go through the cars that there's a lot of different tuning parts on each of these guys. But we're gonna be starting in a few seconds here. False starts, they're not that bad, but they're bad enough.
Kalen says we need some Mercedes.
Oh yes, we need to.
But we have a weight limit here as well. Ghost Killer gets a good jump. RBS looked like he was quick off the line there. Steve in second, holding on. Dean says there was a moving chicane in pool 2. There was someone in pool 6, I can't remember, that joined late. He thought it was manufacturers, didn't know, asked if he could join. And like 3 laps in, he quit after posting a couple messages about why is the car not handling and it keeps crashing. So always pay attention to Discord. You had to raise the height because the wheels were touching the arches if you put wide wheels on or something like that. Plus your suspension needed to be raised. So everyone makes it through the first couple corners.
At the back, we saw Steve, I saw SMP3 Pro having a bit of a slide there. I don't know if there was some contact. There was 3 wide going into that corner, and Yeah, but nothing too bad. SMP3 does drop quite a bit though.
Up front, we've got Ghost Killer still leading Cave Steve. They're both on the softs. I'm just looking at tires. RBS on softs. I'm not going to say soft, I'll tell you when we're to medium runner there. The first medium runner is GTRSA. He's on mediums. OJ saying RBS took the race suspension personally. I'm loving all the liveries, but SPR Ron's livery reminds me of a stock car or one of those BMW Cup track cars.
So, eh?
Loving that pink and blue.
So.
He goes up the inside of GTRSA there. Also a soft runner, passing the Mayfair Gearbox sponsored GTRSA 9BR car. Looks great. Then we've got D-Man currently in 7th, Brunavane 8th. Who's GTRSA is the first medium runner, then it's Brunavane, Stignator on mediums, Junelli mediums, S&P soft, Chris pitted, you say, he probably started on softs and switched already.
He started on mediums. He started
on mediums, yeah.
So he's trying to do the big two-stopper.
Yeah, OJ.
SMP is having trouble though because he's running soft tires. He's being held up by Jonali at the moment because he can't really get past and he doesn't want to cause any incidents or crashes. But he's probably going to go
some
for
nice battling coming up the hill.
Who's
that? That's D-Man on Brunavane. So it's another soft runner going past, stuck in between the medium runners. And GTRSA is going into the pits. Another medium runner getting rid of those tires. We'll see. Meanwhile, out front, Ghost Killer 1.5 ahead of Cav Steves, 1.2 ahead of RBS, 1.2 ahead of Richard, who's 1 second ahead of Ron. So that's your top 5. Breaking away from the group a bit. 6 seconds to D-Man. He's just got past Brunavane on the mediums, been held up a little bit.
Sorry, I'm just switching off my lights here, shining directly in my eyes.
Guys in the chat, tell us how your race went, how you enjoyed the combo, what you think of Raventy's voice tonight, if it's coming out the big hole alright. Not the mouth, the Kimberley hole.
I hope it's coming through the mic and not through the hole. Yeah, this uphill series of lefts and rights can catch you out, especially on the medium tires. If you go slightly wide, not only will you go on the sand, get dirty tires, you might hit the wall, you might get damage, and you might get a penalty all on top of it. So you want to stick to that inside line as much as you can, which the guys seem to be doing. Even maybe dip a little toe onto the sand as well, just to get that extra turn in.
Kalen's full of beans here saying he wasn't bumped tonight. Also didn't race tonight. Stignator, and he's all white M3, looking like it's straight out of Cape Town.
Right? It very much does look like a
Cape Townian car. So he even got his he's done the Allen with the flag on the back window.
On the back window, yeah. That's pretty cool. That's the one you take to the drag. And also driving the XM style BMW.
Yeah. I don't know, we missed that tune, definitely. I wonder, we'd like to give it a go, but so far fastest lap 12.8 by Ghost Killer, who's flying in the front. Everyone up to Janelli is on their first set of tyres still. Then we have the guys who stopped. GTRSA is now on softs. Chris is on softs. They've both pitted.
Yeah, it's incredible to see also the mix-in variations of strategy. Because I think the one-stopper is faster, but it's all about how you can handle the medium tires. Personally, I do not like the sports medium tires, so I would opt in for the two-stopper. But if you can manage to keep a consistent, maybe 114, 115 thereabouts, then you will be faster overall.
I was 16, 17, so I decided to go with the two-stop. But surprisingly, I got into the 15s on my 4 laps with them, the 2 flying laps. It's just quickly scrolling through the field.
The fastest time I did set on the mediums was 15.1, which was faster than I thought I could. My optimal showed a 14.6 on the mediums, which I don't know how, but yeah, there you go.
Cutting corners there.
Yeah, if I was able to do that pace, probably. If I was able to keep up that pace, I would definitely go for the one stop. But we'll see who does. I'm curious to see who goes for the one stop.
We're talking
Because they
about
can
liveries.
still,
Your teammate
yeah,
Ghost Killer with the
just before
Slayer
you
is
get
looking
that.
good there.
Definitely. But yeah, before you go on, I was just gonna say the strat can also go that you do mediums at the end of the race, 2 or 3 laps on the mediums as well. So we'll see who goes in on probably what will be lap 14 or 15, and if they're going to change to another set of softs or another set of mediums. That's gonna change up the game a lot.
In the front, the best would be to go for the other softs and just extend that gap, stay out of traffic.
100%.
Damn it, Steve, let the man finish. I can't read your whole thing because it's cut off. Pretty much what you're saying I was doing. I do have a tiny bit of lag on hearing rub though. I'm just saying. Here's my favourite livery for the race, Smoking Bandit Racing.
Also shout out to Gilara Brand's livery. Like obviously you know being a pace guy, I would obviously say shout out to the pace boys, but yeah, so that's a give. So besides pace for me, it's definitely Gilara, and I would say 9BR guys. 9BR guys also running with the black and red.
Yeah.
Black, red, and white. Hey, that's pace colors. So maybe taking a bit of inspiration there, but it does definitely look good, no doubt.
Yeah, so we're just following Ghost Killer's just sticking there in the. He was in the low 13s till the last lap, but the tyres are starting to wear now.
From what I've seen so far since the physics update,
Steve's actually caught up. Sorry,
it's really. He does. He has actually caught up a lot of time, but his tires are a little bit more worn out on the front side. So we'll see. Maybe there's a little bit of mistakes from Ghost Killer's side, but not enough to get him into slip. RBS is also catching on the same side in the same breath. So RBS is very close to being the slipstream of Steve, and that could also cause some issues. If what Ghost Killer will want right now is for Steve and RBS to fight for their position, so that he can get away even further, extend that gap.
Yeah, definitely. I see on lap 4, RBS was almost identical to Ghost Killer's fastest lap, but I think they both might be improving on this. So Ghost Killer goes across. It has a 12.8, 13.2 and 13.3. Okay, so they didn't quite hold on the last sector. They're 10th up going in the second sector.
Yeah, I think
gap back to 3.2.
And these road cars. Yeah, go ahead. Finish up.
No. I wanted to ask, what on your tune, besides from settings, what parts did you add?
Pretty much everything for performance, all literally every performance parts that you could have.
And then did you use the
which
power?
I think played an effect on just restrict power a little bit, which I think plays a part in the fuel management.
Yeah,
I think so.
It makes sense because I didn't do that. I just did the wide body, I did the brake balance controller, and then like I said, the gearbox and the racing gearbox, racing suspension. I didn't have time to play around or a team to give me. But yeah, I could only get. I got 13 laps. I wasn't trying to fuel save. On my last stint, actually, with 4 to go, I only had 3.2 laps worth of fuel, so I'd fuel save for 2 laps and then it came right. So I probably could have got 14 laps, maybe a little bit more if I was trying from the start. But I think you're probably right that if you had bumped up the performance and then restricted it, you might have had a bit better fuel economy, which is quite interesting to see who's done what, because on the straight line...
Richard is saving a lot of fuel, as it is right now. So he's definitely playing the long game.
Yeah, and he's only 5.2 off the lead. I was just thinking, because when I was on the straight, even trying to overtake some of the guys I was lapping, coming out the last corner of the straight, I couldn't catch them with the slipstream. And I'd geared it that it was right. So
that's the crazy thing about the tunes. It makes such a big dynamic in the same race. Although your power is restricted, your weight is limited, the PP is limited. Still,
Yeah.
just the suspension settings, the downforce, the tires,
Yeah.
even the rims play a big part. After the since the update, if you
Yeah.
have bigger rims, you get more
Top end.
sharpness out of the car, but much easier to spin out as well. Lower, and I think the top end as well. The smaller
Ghost
tires, like
Killer
your 16, 17 inches.
Mr. Ghost still consistent 13.3, 13.4, 13.5 for the other two chasing him. Then Richard 13.3 as well. So I think we've got quite a battle here between the top three, 5 seconds between them, top four. We'll get there eventually. Then Ron he's still on softs. He's fuel's a little bit less than the other guys. He's 10 seconds off the lead. Let's go look through the pack. D-Man, his tires looking good, but he's 18 seconds back. Brunavane still on the mediums, doing a good job. 15s and some 14.5 on lap 8, 15.5 on lap 9. So very little difference between the fuel and tires, but a second improvement on all these other laps. Maybe had a slipstream or something there. Someone bump drafting him. We've got S&P right behind him now. Then Stignator currently in a lonely ninth. Still on the mediums, 30 seconds back. Jun Ali still on the mediums, 35 back. GTRSA, who's got rid of the mediums already, he's 42 off, and Chris is 43 back. Just picking up a penalty there. But they're running nice consistent 14s on their soft tires.
Yeah, so something I won't count Richard out as well. He's probably been the most consistent in terms of variation between lap times. So maybe that will play a part also later in the race, and especially if Steve and RBS start fighting again.
Well, Ghost Killer.
Steve and RBS, they caught up a little bit of time, but Ghost Killer did make a couple of mistakes. I was watching him on the lap, and a little bit too eager on the acceleration out of some of the corners. Now that the tires are worn out, after 50%, you can't just jam on the accelerator as easy anymore, because you'll experience a little bit more slip. But in terms of handling, the tires are good up until it hits that 20% mark. That's when they start going off dramatically.
Yeah, I was going to say, you pointed out Ghost Killer dropped about 6/10 to Richard that last lap. He did a 13.8, 13.5s for the other two, and then Richard 13.2. So the gap now was under 5 seconds, back to 5.1. But Ghost Killer's got a fair amount of petrol left. Richard's got a little bit more than him, and then RBS and Steve are quite a bit less. So they might be second and third, but I think Richard's definitely going to jump them with the fuel stop percentage. Also might have to.
And that's another thing. I'm looking at the gearing as well, because with my tune and the tune that I think most of the pace guys are running, you only get to use up until I would say 70% of fifth gear. We don't even use 6 in this entire race and tune. So you essentially extend the gears, allowing you to push that extra without losing any time shifting up or down.
Yeah. I went the other way. I dropped it that I was maxing out in 6. I didn't quite hit limiter, but I was just about to through the tunnel.
Yeah, and I think that also makes a big effect on the fuel economy as well, because of your natural average higher revs compared to the higher extended gear ratios. It's amazing. It's actually amazing how much the difference is. Like I say, same performance stats, relatively the same weight. There'll probably be maybe a 5 to 10 disparity between the two. RBS going into the pit, I think that's what you might have said. We'll see what tires he goes out to, if he goes to the medium or softs there.
Yeah, Steve's going to have to come in on the next lap. So 13 for RBS, same what I did. Steve's going to get 14 laps. So they're possibly going to have to do the 2-stopper, which could make it very interesting for us, because having 2 of them on softs for most of the race, but an extra stop, and 2 of them doing a 1-stop, we'll have to see. But Ghost Killer's definitely got more fuel. RBS put some medium tires on. We'll know if he's going to 2-stop if he stops in 4 laps time. Again.
Yeah, you can make it with 2 laps, 4 laps. Yeah, with the fuel economy. So that's something that I actually didn't just completely mind blanked on. So RBS is getting 12 laps out of the tank, so he needs to do at least like you say 4 laps Maybe 5. Oh, no, the
6
math is not working.
even.
6 laps.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd have to do
Yeah.
6 laps on the mediums or fuel save heavily.
Yeah, I did what Steve's doing. I had to come in on lap 13. Similar fuel. My tyre wear was better, but I was also second a lap slower than him, so that's possibly the reason. So Steve in on lap 13. Richard still got enough for another 2 laps maybe. And
Yeah,
Ghost Killer 1
Killer's
lap.
gonna be in this lap. Yeah.
If they're doing 14 laps,
Let's see.
15 laps, would you carry on and do the one stop, or you think they're going to all go for the 2? Who else?
I think the one stop is faster if you can manage the times. For me, I know Ghost Killer didn't get a lot of practice. He only was able to start practicing this today. Because we usually run like practice sessions on a Wednesday because everyone's like schedules and life and stuff.
Yeah.
But he started practicing today. He got the tune from Sam and everything. So I don't know what his pace is going to be like on the mediums. So it's going to depend heavily on that, on whether he decides to do the 2 stop or the 1.
Ghost Killer definitely is coming in, looking at his fuel. Richard, I don't know if he can do another one, but he does have a couple % more than Ghost Killer. We'll see. Is Richard coming through in? It doesn't look like it. So he's going to be the only one stretching it to 15 from the front runners.
This can also be an undercut for Ghost Killer or an overcut for Richard, depending on what tires they switch to. So we'll see now as Ghost Killer fills up. RBS has fallen quite far behind on the medium tires so far.
Yeah.
So we'll see what does Ghost Killer do.
Stignator's always got on fuel. He's also going to go for another lap, I think.
So Ghost Killer goes soft, so he's going to do either the last 2 laps or last lap on mediums.
I see someone like Ron who's on.
But he comes out behind traffic.
Yeah, the traffic's the thing. Ron's on mediums, but he's behind Stignator on dead mediums for 1 more lap. So it could cost you a couple seconds. At the front, Richard starts to pit. Brunnevan starts to pit. S&P 3 Pro has to pit. Brunnevan goes wide and gets out. Ghost Killer's way just. Let's see now where Steve. Steve was he was 2.8 seconds behind Ghost Killer. He's now about 4. Not much difference.
Let's see what Richard also does.
He's fitted the soft, so he's definitely 2 stopping. Or Steve. I mean, with them stopping on lap 12, 13, they have to pretty much 2 stop.
Yeah.
So Richard's in. Richard, I expect, what's he going to do? Is he going to 1 stop it, or is he going to... I'm assuming he'll come out on mediums. Let's see.
It literally could play both ways.
Yep, he goes on mediums. But
okay, this is incredible.
He can possibly do
maybe spices things up.
So Steve and Ghost Killer past him. He's again about 5 seconds back, which is where he was when everyone pitted. Ron is now on mediums. He's in 4th. He's pitted. Ghost RBS has dropped behind Ron. What happened to RBS?
Yeah, this is just looking. There's a few comments here. Come on, 9BR. Good luck, Bryson. Come on, SBR Ruan. Ruan is
I think Ruan fueled for his medium stint only because he's got less than half a tank. RBS has gone spinning.
RBS spun. Oh no, that's the worst place he was spinning. Oh,
loses 3 spots.
To go into the wall there.
4 spots, and that's going to be costly on his race. Okay, so that possibly means RBS out of contention for the win, unless everyone else has the same issues. But we'll come look at the top 3. So already Richard's lost another second on this lap, running on the mediums to the 2 in front on the softs. They need about 20 something seconds to have enough to pit and get ahead of him, just for that 4 lap stint. So 25 seconds.
I don't think they'll need. Yeah, they won't need fuel. So around about, I would say 28 seconds if you include like the slow speed coming out of the exit of the pits.
Yeah, they will need fuel because Steve pitted on lap 13, so he'll need pit probably with 4 to go.
Steve is going to be running out.
Bryson
So
maybe.
it looks like it's gonna be Richard Ghostkiller and Steve possibly. Steve might be a little bit behind because he's gonna need to do a lot in terms of fuel. So Richard might not be out of this yet. But the thing is, he needs to get that 30-second. Well, let's just put it at 30 seconds.
What?
If Bryson is able to, Ghost Killer Pace is able to pull a 30-second gap, or at least 28, then he should be able to have the win in the bag.
Yeah.
Barring any mistakes. Barring any
What?
mistakes.
Let's see what he. Ghost Killer did a. He's still doing. Oh, he's on softs. That's why 12.9's on softs. So he's keeping his pace. What's Richard doing? His first flying lap on mediums is a 15. So he's only losing 2 seconds.
Yep. But there's 15 laps, and that translates to about 30 seconds.
Yeah, but the other guys still have to do
right
4.
on the cusp.
Bryson's probably going to have to do 2 if he does 14-14, and Steve's going to do 4. Sorry, here's 13-13. We're expecting. So those are laps that they're not going to.
That's where.
And they're going to have to top up their fuel there as well.
A little bit short is having to do. Yeah. So that's the thing. Bryson is, or the Ghost Killer is able to do the most laps of this entire grid on the soft tires as it stands. Well, Bryson and Merd, they're able to do. Well, Richard's done 15 laps on the softs, so he's going to do another 15 on the mediums. Ghost Killer 14 on the softs, and he'll do probably another 14 again. Maybe try to extend to 15, but based on the revs, I don't think so. So he's just giving the full beans for the 14 laps.
I think Richard's going to finish 5 seconds ahead here in the race. That's my prediction.
5 seconds. Oh, that's close. It's going to be close, but yeah, it's going to be within 5 seconds, either ahead or behind.
Yeah. Okay, so that time he didn't have a great lap. He did a 16.0, so he lost 2.8. But I think he's only going to get Ghost Killer's going to get about a new fastest lap from Ghost Killer there. So now my prediction's only 3 seconds behind. 12.79,
Yeah.
12.79 there.
Yeah, so that's the thing. It is a riskier strategy to do the one stop, because you lose out on that the grip of the soft tires, and it's sort of throws you into making more mistakes, because at this point Ghost Killer already has half the lead that he needs, and there's still 10 laps to go.
Yeah, he's going to do another 9, 8, 9, 7, 8, 9, depends how much fuel he has. I think Bryson's going to only do 2. I think Steve's going to do 4 though. Steve doing his personal best at 13.2 last time round.
Oh, Bryson doing his best at the 12.4.
Nice, he's pushing it now. Okay. So my calculations were based on him doing 12 nines, but in the last 2 laps he's done a 7 and a 4, so that's an extra 8
This
tenths.
is always the thing. Usually when you go on to your second set of socks,
Richard's got some heat in his mediums. He did a 14.6 last time around. Absolutely flying on mediums.
Here we go. You see the bar between getting those consistent 14s. I would expect Richard is able to do that. For someone with that consistency, he's definitely able to do it. But it's so touch and go on the mediums, where you can easily make these small mistakes. They can be so much more costly compared to the medium. You can slide around a little bit here and there. But I think Ghost Killer probably realizes, he's probably checked his track map and said, okay, Richard is so far behind me, he must be on medium, so now I need to push.
Yeah, that's the biggest problem he has, is Steve in the middle, because he doesn't know what the time gap is. He just sees that Steve's 5.4 behind. So you can't really.
I think with all of these drivers, I think with most of Pool 1 and 2 drivers, it's like there's a point where you notice yourself crossing the line, and then you can gauge just by when that little
next
arrow
car
crosses
comes,
the
yeah.
line away from me. Yeah, you can base it off that. Okay, he's around about 15 seconds behind me. So he has an idea.
I was doing that when I was leading my Pool 6 race, and coming into turn 1 I was still counting the cars and trying to work out who was where, which wasn't the best idea into that first turn. Then I realised that, so I told myself to stop. I was
I
like,
do that too so
it's
many
like
times.
with the alternating strategies, I'm like, okay, the guy I'm fighting is actually in 4th place at the moment. So there's 1 car, 2 cars. Is that 2 or 3 cars in the last turn? Okay, it's 3 cars. Okay, so he's the back of that, so he's going to be getting help. Oh wait, I'm in turn 1 and I'm about to crash.
Yeah.
We have a nice little battle here, Stignator and Ruan at the moment. I think Ruan's done with his
I
pit
see.
stops.
Let's.
He did a
I'm
Ruan
looking at the
was
comments here.
4th, and I said he only fueled for 4 laps, so he came in on lap 18 again to fit to soft, so he's done he's good to the end now. But being stuck
Yeah, and
behind
I see.
Stignator isn't going to help him.
Sharky commenting on the last lap battle. As we have a battle here, RBS really hampering Ghost Killer there as a lap car. He really shouldn't be doing that. He should be giving the position.
RBS must have
But
had another
he's
issue
fighting Ghost
there.
Killer there.
Does he even know that it's the leader in this pit? Come on, RBS. Watch your mirrors, bro.
Yeah, and that's a lot of time. I think Ghost Killer lost about 4 seconds there, 3 seconds to Steve. But yeah, you can see that gap tumbling down towards Richard. Ghost Killer's not happy with that.
RBS is,
But yeah, on the other side of things,
RBS is pitted again.
yeah,
That's
he's
why he's got his
FZ.
softs on.
Yeah, so he wants to essentially try and keep himself from being lapped and not lose time. But that is a real dampener on Ghost Killer's race here at the moment.
I think they both.
But yeah, anyway, Marco here says, did anyone experience issues of the driver names appearing wrong on pit stops? Saw the glitch more than once in pool 6. Username guy couldn't see anything like that in the pits, although I was playing Assassin's Creed because Oaks were getting murdered. Yeah, no, turn 1 can make you think that, eh? Yeah, and still Ghost Killer stuck behind RBS here.
I'm not quite sure what. RBS did a 19 last time around, but he's pit and he's on his soft. He was doing 13, so maybe he made a mistake in a dirty tires or something, because he's actually almost towing Ghost Killer. He's pulling a slight gap at the moment, but on that previous lap it did cost him like 3 seconds. So I don't know if he had the pace earlier to run the same pace.
Yeah, that's the thing. RBS is confident that he can get away, but in that, any tiny mistake that he makes, and also Dirty A is not as potent here with the street cars, the road cars, but he's defending the position like he's going to be losing it. So let's see what he does.
It was a 13-2 last time.
Side.
Maybe he's listening to the stream and moving over. So they're both at 13-2 and a 13-5 there, so it wasn't much slower, but what he's done now is what I would have done, just pull him behind and get towed along. Because Ghost Killer starts to pit anyway.
That's the thing. That would have been the ideal strat for RBS.
But you also don't want to lose time, so you need him to get close enough. So that last lap, the 23rd lap, the gap went from 15 to 15.8 to Richard. But now in the last lap they made another 1.8 seconds on him, so it's up to 17.5 now. And we're on lap 24, so I think 2 laps time let's
consistent.
Well, Steve's got
very consistent
more. Steve's done 10 laps. He's got enough lap for another 3, so he'll probably get to lap 27 this time around. And then Ghost Killer's got enough fuel probably to the end, but 2 laps, 1 lap short from the end, but he obviously needs to pit for the tyres, maybe on the last lap.
Yeah, second last or last lap. We'll run 1 or 2 laps on the mediums.
He can pull about 4 or 5 more seconds, which is what I expected him to get to around a 22-second lead. It was what I was basing my thing on earlier. We'll see. Shout out to all the guys watching while we're looking at this. RBS now still in Ghost Killer's slipstream there. He's in 12th, 8 seconds behind GTRSA. GTRSA has also completed his stops. Chris stopped on lap 16. I think Chris has completed his. June Ellie It's lap 16, so he's also finished stops, I think. Stignator
For sure.
on softs, he was on medium, so I think Stignator's one stopping here. He's in 7th currently. He's got enough fuel to go to the end, and he's on the right tyre. He's still just ahead of Ron, holding him up. Ron looking for a move, but Ron on the 2 stops been stuck behind Stignator for 4 or 5 laps already. They're both catching S&P, who's got a penalty, 1 second. Yeah. So I think our one stoppers are Stignator, Ron, Ghost Killer. That I possibly might be 1 or 2 others, but we'll have to see. So S&P stays out the way and lets Stignator through. Ron's couldn't quite get past with that 1 second penalty. That's the downside.
Yeah,
why I
that's
said with the 2 stopper you do the 2 soft stints first, so you don't. I mean,
You don't have to get into
he stopped, put mediums on for 4 laps, and then his second stop he's been stuck in traffic ever since. Brunavane in a solid 5th.
Manufactured a very nice move there.
Yeah, I must have Brunavane still has to pit, I think. D-Man has to pit again. Richard, we know, doesn't have to pit. He's now 20 seconds behind. Cav Steve is possibly coming in right now. 26 laps, 13-13-4, like I thought he would. So 5 seconds behind Ghost Killer. He's going to be on. We'll see now, actually, a very good idea of what's going to happen for the win, because whatever Cav Steve is, add 5 seconds for Ghost Killer, and that's what's going to happen with Richard. So Richard's
now
15
Richard
seconds.
Get back into second now.
15 seconds from Steve to Richard. 20 seconds from Steve to Richard to Ghost Killer. So Richard's through in the tunnel already. Is he more than 5 seconds ahead of Steve? Because if he's 6 seconds ahead, that means on track currently he's ahead of Ghost Killer. Well, he's way ahead, 10 seconds.
Ghost Killer, yeah.
So at 3 seconds, Ghost Killer lost.
With a battle, battle with RBS.
Call it 4
Ghost Killer
seconds.
lost about 4 seconds, yeah, 4 seconds.
Yeah, it was 3 on the first lap and then about 1 on the next. Or half a second, but to round it off.
Yeah, I can just say with that 2 laps about.
Ghost Killer, he's going to have to come in now. I think he should, if he does a 14 again, do the 28th lap, yeah.
Yeah, and I think that will just about put Richard ahead. Either that or they'll be battling it out. I think Richard will probably be ahead of Ghost Killer by the looks of it. Because
I think
he doesn't have to fuel a lot, but still, maybe 3 or 4 seconds.
I called 5 seconds. I think that's where it would have been.
You did.
I think it's probably going to be about 10 at the finish, but great 2-stop from Ghost Killer anyway. He's flying that 12, 4, 7, 9 lap is what's the word? Stupendously fast. We're going to use big words tonight. We've got 2 laps to go, 2 and a bit. Ghost Killer leading. We expect Richard to just get ahead. He'll be about 6 seconds ahead, 6-7 seconds. He's 12 ahead of Richard. So Richard's 12 ahead of Steve at the moment. D-Man is on softs with 2.5 laps to go and only 2.4 behind Steve. So
you can see the
I
difference.
think D-Man has to stop on this lap. Sorry.
All good. So yeah, D-Man has to stop on this lap, and everyone else is fine except obviously Ghost Killer.
Yeah, Brunavane doesn't have to stop. Ruan and Stignate are still battling. We'll go check. Ruan looking up the inside this time. Does he get it? I think he must be so tired of the back of Stignator's car. He does get through. You can see a huge difference on tyres there. Stignator's been on these tyres since lap 15. Ron since lap 19, I think. No, 18. So to the lead, Richard coming past the pits. Ghost Killer coming out the pits.
Oh, 2 seconds. 3 seconds.
The next problem, though, it's about 3, but Ghost Killer's got the cold tyres. Ghost Killer's 9 seconds ahead of Steve still. The gap was 5, so there's 2 extra laps for Steve on
Also,
mediums.
this would also mean that there would be they would probably be battling with him now in the last 2 laps.
Yeah.
So fresher tires though. His next lap might be faster. I don't know. I don't know how used, like I said, how used Ghost Killer is on the medium tires. But that blockage from RBS definitely.
Look at the consistency from Richard. Richard possibly knowing that he'd come out in front's just been managing, but look at it, 14.8 in lap 21. So lap 20, 14.4, 21, 14.8, 14.79, 14.5, 14.7, 14.66, 7.77, and 14.8.
Like I said, I knew that Richard would be consistent.
That's
and that
crazy.
Would be the determining factor. That would be the determining factor in that. But now again, we won't know because the blocking. It does go a little bit deep into turn 1. But yeah, Ghost Killer is not going to be happy with the situation, which looks like at this point could have been a win. I don't know. We'll have to see how it ends up in the last at the end of the race, because Richard made one mistake and Ghost caught up a whole chunk of time.
I think Richard's fuel saving has only got 5% left, down to 4%, which is about right.
Less fuel than Ghost Killer. Yeah, so Richard has had a very long race. He's been in clear air all the time.
Okay, Steve's still holding on to third.
Otherwise, he doesn't know.
Brunnervane coming,
and
but
I think Steve will hold on to third for that.
Another 2 laps would be an interesting. Great job by him for the podium. So we're going to watch. Richard takes it by 2 seconds, so I was incorrect on my time management. That last lap he did a 15.7 though. He backed off quite a bit, or had to fuel save quite a bit.
He made a mistake. He made a mistake on the first 2 corners. He went a little bit too deep into turn 1 and had to brake severely going into turn 2.
Steve
P3 caught up that extra second.
P3 for Steve, P4 for Brunnervane. Stignator gets P5. I don't know what happened to Ron there. Did Ron run out of fuel?
He's got bumper damage. I wonder if there was maybe
maybe spun. We missed that, but
D-Man got damage.
Ruan dropped from what would have been 5th to 7th because he was ahead of Stignator briefly there. Stignator gets 5th, S&P gets 6th, 7th for Ruan, D-Man 8th, Janali 9th, Chris 10th, GTRSA 11th, and RBS just misses out on staying in pool 1 and gets 12th place. Crazy race that was as well.
Need to enter there.
If we look at
replay,
P5,
Boss's lap times are crazy.
S&P to.
And what's even more insane is that the pool 2 guys had more fastest in the 13s than the guys in pool 1. That's how close our top 30 drivers are. All within the same, let's say, 1.5 seconds.
Yeah. Just looking. I mean, last place had the second fastest lap. 49.9 seconds behind for RBS. That spin, what do you think that spin cost him?
Yeah, that spin easily
20
cost
seconds.
him
25
seconds. Yeah, 15-20 seconds.
Anyway, it was good fun to watch that. Good strategy.
And then, he spun out and he went into the wall. Fortunately, no damage. That would have been a big one. But yeah, and it was just downhill from there.
I'm going to give.
It was a very incredible race.
Driver of the day to Ghost Killer for his pace, Stignator and Richard for their one-stoppers. Just from number 1 making them.
I think I will say Gilara for me. Unbiased. But Gilara for me because he made up so much time. He started off so far on the back foot and was battling. I think
he had the medium early. Anyway,
he had the medium early.
we're lucky enough to have manufacturers next week, which is the only late reveal for manufacturers. No track or anything revealed yet. We might even have a vote.
Group City?
Possibly. So keep an eye on Discord for that. And make it interesting.
Yeah, keep your eyes on Discord, guys. That's where you
Hope
get
everyone
the
enjoyed
details.
their race tonight. It was quite interesting, a little bit different. For all the guys that like tuning, Serious Sam, and apparently we have a couple other very quick tuners here looking at the times. Well done. Shout out to the guys like Brunavane who posted their suspension and gear basic setup so people like me actually could race. 3-star ticket, what do I win here?
I must say, Richard with his consistency, that was
absolutely
outstanding. That was.
That's why I think he might have been a little bit faster, but
geez.
I know it was pool 6, but in my race, once I saw the guy that I was assuming I was going to be battling for the win have an issue on the lap, he put it on lap 4, I put it on to get rid of the mediums. When I put it on lap 13, that guy that I was battling, I expected him to come past because I wasn't that running the pace that we were running earlier. I was running like half a second off. I was just trying to be consistent. But then he spun. So when I came out the pits, I had a 12-13 second lead over the guys on the same strategy. So I just made sure I didn't spin, make any mistakes for the rest of the race. I probably could have gone 10-20 seconds quicker overall time, but there's no need to. I think that's what Richard did there. Once he saw it was a 2 versus 1 stop, he just knew he had to hit those mid-14s and keep it there. When he pulled off.
But it was a nice to see also like the different tuning, the different setups, different gear ratios, the different X6M designs and brakes and
4x4 suspension.
All the different suspension ways. 4x4 suspension.
I think we're going to have
rally racing.
We need a F1500 suspension race again, tuning race, because you set the camber all the way in and it looks like the suspension's collapsed. That was always good fun.
Okay. That was always good fun. Watching it was fun.
Shout out to everyone. We'll see you next week. I'm not sure if I'll be streaming Revel, but we'll be watching or chatting. So have a good week. Keep an eye on Discord and catch you later. Rav.
Thank you for having me, Stephen. As always, it's always fun to watch these races when they're moving. And thanks to the guys for joining us. Make sure you leave a like on the stream, and we'll see you in the next one. Have a good weekend as well moving forward. Hope you enjoy it. Hope you see it back for the next one.
Cheers, everyone.